This playthrough is rated M for mature.
There's much to do about demons inside of you and causing a bit of a panic. Greetings and salutations, viewers. Vauldemare back here with another episode of Bound by Flame. In the last episode, we explored the town and talked to a lot of people, kind of figured out what was going on. Then we talked to the headman, and our demon friend came out and started berating him because of his cowardice. And though it was true, it made us people wearied us because now they know we have someone inside of us. So let's see what Elis has to say.
I am busy, mercenary. Go do what you're getting paid for.
Alright, fine, whatever. Actually, I don't even think I ever went over his, the guy who did the voice work for Elis. Well, I'm looking, I'll put that up here in a second as soon as I pull up my, my notes. So, yeah, we're inside the little, the meeting area. Looks like, let's see if there's anything to, like, grab or explore. Everyone's kind of run off. Yeah, we could go back outside, but let's see if there's anything to collect while we're in here. Gotta collect all the goodies, if there's anything in here. If not, then I shall cry. I'll probably end up crying. There's gotta be something in here for us to grab. There it is. Awesome. Let's see. Ooh, we got a new weapon, a stunner. Man, we got quite a few things from that drop. See, my exploring has paid off for all those involved. Well, mainly me, but still. That takes us outside. We don't want to do that yet. Alright, yeah, last episode was a bit of me, mostly me walking around, but don't worry, after that we won't have to worry about it too much.
The Order of the Freeborn Blades is of great repute, and the mercenary does honor to its name. The mercenary's powers are both astonishing and fascinating. The knight would like to duel with the mercenary, that he may judge the mercenary's strength.
Sure, I guess I could do that. Why not? I like a good fight.
Sure. I can never turn down a good fight. But maybe we should take it outside if we don't want to break everything in here.
The knight is honored and bows to his adversary's wisdom.
Wait for me here, Sybil. I won't be long.
Alright, well, let's see what this guy's got. See if he'll... Well, I mean, we are playing a captain mode,
Hopes
so...
that his adversary will not hold back his blows.
Oh, you can count on it.
Not gonna try to murder me, are you? So, alright. Well... Ah! Ooh! Oh, well, can't hit everything. I guess I could, summon a Guardian Fly just in case I accidentally mess up again. Some attacks are easier to dodge because they're a bit easier to telegraph. Oh! Well, luckily the flames help reduce my damage. There we go.
The knight has never before battled an adversary with such power, and he believes that he could be that which is needed to change the course of this war.
You fight pretty good yourself.
Well, I mean, I did fight with the power of name, even though I didn't actually use that on you, but, where'd you learn your moves?
Where did you learn your moves? I can't believe you learned to fight like that in this backwater.
The knight has traveled far and fought many battles. He has only lived in this village for a short time.
Yeah, we Captain Falconed him. Show me your moves! Why do you stay here?
What are you doing in the middle of these swamps when you could be making a difference on the battlefield?
The knight has fought a great many battles, but he feels he can be more useful protecting those who have nothing left.
True.
I have to go. I'm glad we could test each other's mettle. It was fun.
Before his adversary rushes off to fight other battles, the knight has a question for him. He wishes to know if the Freeborn Blades would like him to join them.
Why does he call him adversary? Shouldn't he call him a rival? But maybe it's just where he's from, so... Yeah, we can actually ask him to join, so why not? I can ask the captain for you.
I'm not the one who decides who joins the company, but I can ask the captain for you.
He has thought long on it, and wishes it would be so.
Well, that's great. I'll ask him, but I can't promise you anything.
Oh yeah, the captain was looking for new recruits, so why not? He seems pretty solid of a fighter. Anyway, we gained a level from that experience. Oh yeah, and I can show off the weapon we got, the stunner from earlier. Not the stone cold stunner. No, nothing quite like that. So, but close. It's a hammer weapon. Usually hammer weapons are very, very slow. As you can see there, the attack speed drops to 75% to 0%, which means it moves. It's just not very fast. But it has high interrupt capabilities and has high chances to critical hit. But and there is a feat based upon killing 15 people with hammers. Then we got the Guardian Sword. Has a decent critical hit chance, not as good interrupt, but decent attack power. So I don't know. I might equip the hammer just to have some big lanky weapon, even though I'm so used to fighting with the ranger things. But we'll see. Let's see, anything else right now? Oh yeah, we got those greaves. Let's see, feats. Yeah, I'm still trying to decide. I need to. Yeah, I could do the crossbow one for now, and then do the one where I can craft them later. As soon as I craft some, get some more bone to make. Because that'd be good for. Because those would be a good combination of things. I think I'll hold off on buying those for now. I always like saving my feats till I actually do battles and stuff like that. So, all right, a couple points. Let's see. Yeah, we could buy a point into the Gift of the Viper, so we can actually start poisoning people now. So, and if you can poison people, you can also get them at higher levels, get them do less damage to you, which will help, and less resistance to physical damage. Or sorry, they do less damage to me, and they take less resistance to damage, so possibly more damage to them. So, yeah, let's put a point into that. Unfortunately, I need a level 2 and Raving Assault to do that. So, do I want to? I think I might just keep going into Ranger for now. Okay, what else do we see? Ooh, surprised enemy. We could crossbow. If you level them up further, you can get surprise fire spells or crossbow shots do extra damage. Let's see. Or do I want to keep doing the damage assault so I can get more poison enemy stuff? Yeah, I think I'll. Yeah, reason the stealth wouldn't be bad because I could improve my stealth and get the light. Although the light penalty thing, the whole light thing is you can turn it off and you can turn the brightness up on your console and get around that. But the only problem is you have to buy max it if you want to get into the other abilities as well, though, which is the more annoying thing. But oh well. Yeah, we'll do the. Oh no, I need to raise that up a bit. Let's see. Yeah. Sorry, I always have a tough time deciding what I want to. Actually, let's do Rancor. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Anyway, let's go back inside. Even though I know generally what I want to do, I'm always just like, you know. Whoops, I'm not attacking. Wrong button.
The knight heard talk of a troubling event that happened during the meeting between the mercenary and the steward.
Yeah, the short version is that I have a demon living inside of me.
A demon? The knight has never heard of such a creature. Should he be worried?
Maybe? Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Not yet, but hey, give it some time. Let's see. Not yet, but hey, give it some time.
For now, it's just a voice in my head that doesn't seem to want to hurt me. But if I start spitting fire and attacking everybody, I'm counting on you to do what has to be done, okay?
The knight is honored by the trust placed in him. He will not betray it.
Thanks. And yeah, now that we've convinced Rodval to join, well, we haven't convinced him to join the Freeborn Blades yet. However, but since we fought with him and have made basically friends with him, we can now have him as a party member. So if we don't want to use any of the other characters, we can always ask Rodval to help us, which he's a solid. I mean, he's basically a warrior stance character that'll help us. Realmar, if we can find him, he's ranged with the bow, that type of thing, and then the Red Scribe, she's ranged magic, that type of thing. I like bringing her just because on the higher difficulty she can at least somewhat heal me during battle, you know. But anyway, let's see if he has any questions.
I have a few questions I need to ask you.
Let's see. Oh, I thought I ask him a lot of this stuff last time. Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to remember. I asked him some questions before, but I'm trying to remember if I asked him all these questions. Now let's ask him. What is the Order of the Ember Knights?
You mentioned the Order of the Ember Knights. What is that?
It is the order that a knight belongs to. They are the surviving warriors and honored soldiers of other orders that were lost during this war.
Oh, so it's kind of the Order of the Orphan Knights.
This name does not sound well to his ears.
Right. So you haven't always been an Ember Knight.
No. He was first a defender of the Algander Islands. Then he was a Templar of the Order of Burgeons, and then a Brother of the Rock, and then a Summer Tracker.
So all of those orders have been lost. That must have been hard.
He has lost many valorous companions in battle, and his heart is heavy with scars.
I'll bet. So what is the creed of the Ember Knights?
The knight has long searched for the answer. Now he knows it. To seek a glorious death and carry as many enemies as possible away with him.
That's kind of depressing.
Well, if that's, yeah. Stick with me and you'll get your wish.
If you follow me, we should be able to find a chance for you to get your beautiful death. Just try not to commit suicide at the first available opportunity.
The knight will wait for this moment.
But, I was trying to think of something. Yeah, when he's talking about Ember Knights and the Knight of Orphans, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of more cooler to call yourself an Ember Knight than a Knight of an Orphan. Where are you from?
You're not from around here. Where do you come from?
The knight was born in the Algander Islands. It is a proud and savage place where the struggle against the wind and vicious neighbors makes a man strong. The Ice Lords attacked the islands more than 15 years ago, long before the rest of Vertial knew that the world was now at war. The clans were always fighting, but they fought together as brothers when the islands were threatened. And as a defender of Algander, the knight had the honor to be one of the first to fight, and with his brothers for a long time he repulsed the invader. Some of the clan chiefs wanted to make peace with the Ice Lords, but the Ice Lords betrayed them and the clans were decimated. Their numbers were sorely missed during the following battles, and in a few short months the war was almost lost. The knight was sent by the surviving clan chiefs to the mainland to find allies. But time is a cruel master. When he returned to his homeland, the islands were buried beneath the ice.
Chilling. So how'd you end up, how'd you finish up in Vauldemare? How do you finish up in Vauldemare? Okay. That seems weird translation, but okay.
So how did you end up in the village of Vauldemare?
When he saw that all his kin were slain, the knight was hungry for revenge and sought out battles to bathe his pain in blood. But in every battle, he lost more of his brothers in arms and faced an enemy that only grew stronger. The orders were always hazardous, with betrayals common and errors never-ending. Faced with these eternal difficulties and death, always more death, the knight lost his hope, and so he left the field of battle. He decided instead to take care of the war's victims, to protect them, even though he knew it could only last a short time. It is a final mission without any other hope but to give comfort and relief to a few innocent souls.
Well, that's an interesting way of doing things, but I mean, that seems reasonable. But what do you think of the Red Scribes?
What do you think of the Red Scribes?
Their studies have made them blind. Only knowledge interests them. They show contempt for all else. Today, they have the ear of the last surviving warriors. They do not deserve this honor, and their words are hollow.
Basically walking nerds. So what did you abandon when you entered the Order of the Ember Knights?
So what did you abandon when you entered into the Order of the Ember Knights?
The knight has already said he does not wish to speak of this.
Alright, well, when we, if you want to, be my friend, but this could be your last chance to get to talk about it.
This could be the last chance you get to talk about it.
It is true that tomorrows are becoming less likely. But the abandonment of the past means the forgetting of it. And it is often painful to dig through memories.
That's what you claim, but I can tell you're dying to talk about it.
Very well. Know then that the knight once had a family.
I suppose they must be dead. I'm sorry for your loss.
It was long ago. 15 years have passed since his wife and his 2 daughters were taken from him.
The Deadwalker army?
Yes. They were among the first victims when the Ice Lords attacked the Algander Islands. They were thought to be safe with the other women, far behind the front lines. But the Deadwalkers broke through our lines and stole away the innocents. The Knight searched the enemy lines for days, but when he found them, he had to fight what the sorceress had created from his wife and his children. A dread creature, multiple and monstrous. This was the most difficult fight of all his life.
Oh, yeah. About time to change the subject.
Let's change the subject.
Yeah, I can't ever. I don't know what it'd be like to have to kill your loved ones. I guess the same situation being turned into zombies type of thing. So.
I haven't had time to go see the captain, but I promise I will as soon as I can. I'm going.
All right. I don't know. But anyway, let's see. Where are? Might be. Let's see, where are you? Where's Cynthia at? Oh yeah, Elis is voiced by Alan Winger. That actually this was his last role. So at least currently, unless he's passed away or something like that. But this is the last role he voiced, at least by the time of this recording. So yeah, I've noticed a lot of voice actors for this game. A lot of them don't have a lot of regular roles, or if you hear about them, it's because they're from the games they voice are games from European type of games or something like that. Oh, hello. What do we get here? Spoiling trap, health potion, leather. Nice. And the steward, he is voiced by. Let's see. I thought I had his notes here. Joffrey Bateman. His last current role was in Siberia: The World Before, and he hasn't had a huge voice acting career. But like I said, he's probably one of those European voice actors, or one that just does it every once in a while for a little extra cash or something. But
Mr. Vulcan, what brings you here?
yeah, let's see. Do you have any work? I could use the side quests.
The captain wants me to help your village. You got a job I can do?
With our shortages of food and fighting men, our worn-out equipment and the growing lines at the healing house, I cannot deny our village is sorely in need of help. Sadly, I fear that these are not the sort of problems you are used to dealing with, unless I'm much mistaken.
Maybe I'll surprise you.
Well, I mean, you've got to tell me them first before I can tell you if I suck at them. About the healing house.
So what's the problem with the healing house?
Quite simply, Mirana cannot keep up. She spends every waking minute giving out supplies to the refugees and refuses to admit that she cannot help everyone. She thinks she's fooling me. I have heard rumors that her food stock is running low. Unsurprisingly, the crowds outside are becoming restless. I believe they wish to continue handing out our food reserves as though they were unlimited. This is not the case, and thus, it is not an option.
So, you want someone to put her down?
Why, I never suggested any such thing. I just wish she would see reason, for all our sakes. But I have asked nothing of you. I was merely answering your question.
Interesting. You know your sentries are losers?
Your guards... How can I put this? At first, I thought they were disobeying orders. Now I think maybe they don't even understand them. If you're stupid and incompetent, you should be digging turnips, not taking care of security.
You're beginning to worry me. Is it really that bad?
Are you kidding me? The state of their weapons is enough to make you cry. Maybe they'd be good for splitting logs.
Personally, I'm not capable of judging the aptitude of our sentries, but their poor results speak for themselves. Doubtless, you should share your observations with Mason, the chief of the watch. I should warn you, however, that he is of a somewhat stubborn nature.
Wouldn't be the first I've seen.
Yeah, we've already talked to that guy, actually, the jackass, so, we know about him already, so. Need to know more about this beast?
I need the reports about this beast that attacked the villagers.
I fear I am unable to be of help. I'm still not entirely convinced that it even exists. All I know is that several villagers have vanished. One villager is at present in the doctor's care, following a supposed encounter with the said beast. These swamps are crawling with dangers. There is nothing to suggest anything out of the ordinary. The refugees are always inventing horror stories in an attempt to force us to open our gates and let them inside.
It might be worth checking it out. You said you lost one of your patrols, right?
That is so. You should speak with Randval. He was most anxious to go out and hunt the beast down, but we needed him here. Now that we have more able bodies to guard our gates, I imagine he would be keen to pick up the scent once more.
Oh, okay. Well, Randval's right over there, so... I would like to know more about your village, sir.
I've got a few questions I'd like to ask about this village.
I imagine there are few who are better placed than myself to answer them.
How come it's you running the village? Yeah, who died and made you king?
How come it's you that's running the show here?
What a question. Because, my friend, someone has to. You imagine I'm doing this for my amusement, perhaps? Doubtless you wish it was someone else. The chief of the watch has trouble organizing 3 peasants. Our dear apothecary is evidently keen to give succor to any and every poor soul who wanders into the healing house. And regardless of your reputation, the people of this village would never trust outsiders such as yourself, or even the Red Scribes. So yes, it is indeed I who command here. The one-time steward of the hunting lodge of Vauldemare, now leader of this shithole.
Well, hell. Glad we got that cleared up.
But now we told the truth. But where did all these refugees come from?
Who are all those refugees that you're keeping outside the walls?
The war with the Ice Lords has driven many from their homes and villages. Alas, it would seem that some of them found their way here. I have tried to accommodate as many as we can, and provide as much comfort as possible, but I fear we can do little more. We are reaching the end of our reserves, and relations between the refugees and the villagers are becoming strained.
The refugees can't all be dead weight. Some of them have got to be useful.
Oh, if only. Believe me, I would be the first to welcome them. These peasants have been fleeing from town to town and from camp to camp for months. The best and strongest of them perished in battles, somewhere along the way. I must deal with the leftovers. I put the biggest of them in the watch, but they are of little use.
Yeah, we talked about how worthless they are. What is the healing house, even though we just asked them about a quest to deal with it in the first place?
The healing house. It's a pretty good thing for your village, huh?
If you say so. As time has gone by, the healing house has drawn refugees to the swamps in ever greater numbers, and dissuaded some malingerers from returning to their families. When it opened its doors a year ago, the sense of relief was palpable. It was run by a couple, an elf doctor and his apothecary wife, who clearly were no strangers to the healing arts. Thanks to them, we were spared many plagues. But as the war dragged on, the endless tide of refugees continued to flow through our gates until we could harbor no more. 6 months ago, our worst nightmares were fulfilled. Our elf doctor fell ill and died. Since then, Mirana has soldiered on without rest, alone. I do not know how much longer she can keep going. The refugees just keep on coming. And I fear that poor woman is beginning to crumble under the strain. It's not surprising.
I mean, I gotta sleep sometime. You got a forge here?
I need a blacksmith. Do you have one here?
With none more qualified, I asked Asiel to take over the village forge. I suppose I should warn you, he's quite a tricky character. He has a huge ego and is stubborn as an ox. Before the war, he was a sort of artist. He crafted jewelry and sculptures from metal. Despite running the forge, one could hardly call him a blacksmith. But he's the only one here who had even the vaguest notion of how to repair a shovel or straighten a blade.
You just put, like, straighten a blade, just put it in the fire, just bang it out, boom, fixed. Or is it more complicated than that? Anything I should know about the villages?
What can you tell me about the people of Vauldemare?
Before the war, there were just a few families here. Hunters and craftsmen, mostly. These days, they survive as best they can, husbanding their animals and digging up the puny vegetables they've managed to grow. Few dare to venture outside the walls. These woods are fruitful, but more perilous than ever before, and most of these folk know nothing of arms.
But you've got your guards.
They hardly qualify as an armed militia. Of the few that remain, most are sturdy farmers whom we have entrusted with some kind of weapon. Most of the real fighters left the village as soon as war broke out. The others died while out on patrol. The only one left here with any real experience is Mason, the head of the guard. Sadly, the man is a walking beer keg, who could not give a dog's fart for what his men are about.
Time to kick him in the gear, I think. But anyway, let's head on.
We'll talk again later.
Okay, let's keep looking around. Yeah, so we got ourselves some side quests to talk to. Let's see. Okay. You guys have anything to say? Nope. Okay. Sylvan, huh? Chest. More important than anything. What do we got? Ah, gold, gemstone, tan leather, mercenary helmet. Ah, excellent. Let's put on that helmet then. Oh, whoops. Wrong thing. Wrong place. Alright. Well, that'll give us a little extra defense and some resistance to poison. And we look cool. Hey, I'm cool.
Greetings, mercenary. What can I do for you?
I have a question I'd like to ask you. Yes, folks, unfortunately, that's just how it is with these types of games. We're going to be talking to a lot of people at the very beginning of the game. After that, I'll be just doing side quests and stuff like that, so you gotta do it. I have some questions I'd like to ask you.
I have some questions I'd like to ask you.
Do you have any idea about what's happening to me?
Do you have any idea about what's happening to me?
I'm afraid I may not be able to help you. Your condition is more due to magic than medicine. Your symptoms remind me of certain mental illnesses, where the subject has the impression he hears voices in his head.
And do these nutcases throw fire and have eyes that burn from within too?
You'd be surprised at what they can do. But obviously you're not like them. That being the case, if you study them, you might find some answers. In particular, I'm thinking of the fact that most of these poor madmen end up giving free rein to the darkest side of their personalities. Make sure that doesn't happen to you.
Alright, well, I'll try to keep that in mind for the end of the game. Not like that's a decision or anything like that. Who's the big snoring elf?
Who's the big snoring elf?
Show some respect, please. That's Prince Arundel.
And?
He's the son of the Elven King, leader of the last army standing against the Deadwalkers.
Yeah, okay. But he doesn't exactly look like he's ready to stand against anything just now. What's wrong with him?
From what I've been told, Relmar brought him here before we arrived. The prince and his men fell in an ambush. Without your friend, he wouldn't have made it out. Unfortunately, he was severely wounded and has probably been the victim of powerful magic. I'm trying to find a cure, but without much success for the moment.
I don't know, we didn't meet Relmar that long ago. I don't know if I call him a friend, but okay. Let's see what you have in stock.
Can I have a look at your stock?
See what he's got right now. Yeah, we can buy mana potions from him. Unfortunately, they are 40 gold apiece. Same with the mana potions are a little pricey. But, you know, something to think about if you have a little extra gold. But yeah, he's pretty much a potions guy. So, let's see. Relmar. Haven't got to really talk to him in a bit.
Vulcan, you must help me. The prince is dying.
Well, I'm happy to see that my talents as a doctor are finally being recognized.
There's no doubt an explosion would cure him of all his ills forever. But I was actually thinking about your connections with the Red Scribes. If you could speak to them, it would save me having the prince's death on my conscience.
I wouldn't exactly call myself a friend of theirs. But yeah, I could always give it a try.
Aren't they looking after him right now? Alright, whatever. But yeah, we can ask him to come along with us, but not at the moment, so. How's the prince doing?
So is the prince doing any better?
He is still in a coma. He doesn't seem much better, no.
I'm going to talk with the Red Scribes, Doctor. He might know of a cure.
Thank you.
The Scribes doctor who's like right there? Okay, whatever.
Let's change the subject.
Alright, let's ask him some questions.
I have a few questions I need to ask you.
Alright, what can you tell me about elves?
Elves are pretty rare. I haven't had the chance to talk to many. Can you tell me more about your people?
We are born in the trees, eat only seeds, and we spend all the livelong day singing.
I get the feeling you're fucking with me.
Perish the thought. Well, it's just that we aren't that different from you humans, despite what one hears. Our civilization is obviously a bit older, so we have had the time to learn from our mistakes. We don't really live in the same rhythm as you do. We move a little slower, and most of us are prone to having at least some respect for the past. This is the reason why we never destroy anything, that we prefer to build on top of things.
I mean, I like this game and everything, but it tries to like mock like fantasy tropes, but then their fantasy stuff isn't really that interesting. Like I said, like they're like elves are the same as humans. I'm like, well, that's boring. I play a fantasy game to have different races and interact with them and have different ways of thought. Like, you know, I mean, like I said, still like this game, but you know, they could have worked a bit more in the world building of it. I heard that you're immortal.
I've heard that you are immortal.
That joke has lived for 15 generations. I will never get tired of it. No, we're not immortal. We live long lives, though. Much longer than you. We are resistant to poisons, rotten food, and toxic body odor, apparently. Unfortunately, these things do not make us immortal.
Don't you ever go to war?
Don't elves ever make war?
That's an impression we like to give other people. The fact is, we do go to war, just never against each other. You must understand that, given our long lifetimes, battles are fairly futile. This may well be what has motivated the choices of our king concerning the Ice Lords. But we certainly know how to fight, and you'll see proof of that soon enough.
Oh yeah, because I didn't put you in my party. So it's the prince who gives the orders?
So it's the prince who gives the orders.
The word orders may not be the best one. We do not submit nor obey easily. Our kings are a reference, wise men who can point out the way. They tend to guide us rather than give us orders. But to answer your question, it is his father the king who is the leader of our people.
But who is the prince? Who is Prince? Or the artist formerly known as Prince?
Who is the elf in the healing house? Is he really your prince?
He is Prince Arundel, the son of our king and heir to the Elven crown. Therefore, yes, he is our king.
How the hell did he end up here?
Prince Arundel led a detachment of the Elven army sent to harass the Deadwalkers. And when he reached Bastion, he fell into an ambush. I got wind of this trap, but by the time I arrived, it was too late. When I caught up to the prince, he was already wounded, and most of his soldiers were dead. Those who survived covered our retreat.
To here?
Yes. The route to Carolthas was too dangerous. I knew about this village and felt that it would be secure for at least a little while. As soon as he gets better, we shall leave for Carolthas. The remainder of the human and elven armies are gathering there. That is where the final stage of the war will be played out.
And that's where we'll fight the Dark Lord Sauron. I mean, the Ice Walkers. But when he calls him, yes, he's our king, but you call him Prince Arundel, so why don't you just call him King Arundel? Oh, wait. I don't know, whatever. Where are you from?
You seem different from the other elves I've met. Where are you from?
Really? I seem different. And yet I have such pointy ears. And if you really want to know, I actually come from one of the most ancient and noble houses that exists. I'm even linked to the royal family. But I can assure you that I'm sufficiently far down the line of succession to be in no danger of being crowned. And my reputation is no help either.
As far as bad reputations go, every mercenary has got one, so we're used to it.
Let's just say that I got into enough trouble to eventually be considered a traitor to my people. When I got involved in the war, I disagreed with decisions made by the king. He thought that this war, like so many others, would not last. That the conquests won by the Ice Lords would melt away like all the human victories before them had. But I thought differently. Right from the start of hostilities, I began to requisition certain resources I felt necessary for those doing the fighting. More food, more weapons, better armor. When my people discovered what I'd done, I was declared an outlaw, and many saw me as a thief, which, in a manner of speaking, I guess I was.
Like all elves. Yeah, they should have listened to you. So you're a traitor. Yeah, they should have listened to you.
A bunch of cowards. If they had listened to you, we wouldn't be in this mess.
I've been telling myself that for years. But I do understand their point of view. It is flawed, but not entirely thoughtless. They have had some time to prepare their forces and to learn the strengths and weaknesses of the Deadwalker army. This knowledge might allow us to turn the tide of the war, even if it does seem too little too late at this point.
Better to try at least. Do you know these swamps?
Do you know these swamps?
I've been in this area long enough to have explored a fair amount of it, actually. The region is rather inhospitable, which I suppose is a good thing under the present circumstances.
A good thing? You're out of your mind.
These swamps are a labyrinth. The Deadwalker scouts will never be autonomous enough to find their way to the village by themselves.
That means we should be fairly safe for the moment. At least until a general or an ice lord comes to town.
Except that recently, there has been a change in these swamplands. And I must admit that I no longer feel safe at all.
What do you mean?
Something is affecting the swamplands, corrupting the vegetation and the animals. And I have no idea what it is. But anything that grows or lives here could become a threat. So I strongly recommend that you watch where you put your feet.
Yeah, have you fought those chrysalid things? Oh my god.
Let's change the subject.
At least on captain difficulty anyway, so. Alright, we're done.
I'll leave you here.
Alright, so we'll talk to Sylvan, who's right there, but let's talk to Sybil really quick.
Sybil, can I talk to you?
Yes?
Let's see. I think we asked her all her questions before, but
I'd like to ask you if...
What do you want to know?
let's see. Oh yeah, did you learn anything from the swamps?
So then, any result from the study of all these creatures of the swamps?
I have discovered a few things about the small chrysalids. They are much faster, but it seems that they can only attack from close up, using their pinchers. I also noticed that the medium-sized chrysalids were slower than small ones, but they, however, can fire tiny projectiles. The sickles have a power that depends on their growth. The biggest ones are the most dangerous. Up close, their attacks can be frenetic and extremely dangerous. They can also leap onto their prey.
So basically she's telling us what we just learned from just basic gameplay. Alright, anyway, come with me.
I need your help. Come with me.
If you want.
Oh, don't sound too excited, Sybil. Yeesh. But anyway, looks like we've earned Rolvin, the knight. Sorry, I don't know what. The knight has joined our team for the most part, and now he wants to be Freeborn Blaze. We've talked to a lot of people, learned some stuff, unlocked some quests. Which one will we do first? Will we still stay in town, or will we actually get some more action in? We'll find out next time in the next episode of Bound by Flame. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.